Well, it's our pleasure. I mean, we had a little chat backstage and you described yourself as an open book. But I feel like, for everybody, there's something we don't know. So why don't you just start off and tell us a little bit about yourself, especially something you think we wouldn't know?
Well, I think you began with the most difficult question. An open book and what I... Well, people view me, I think, from the political framework and the political lenses. But really and truly, I think I'm one of the most normal persons in the political arena, I think. But really and truly, I've been molded in the political arena, but really and truly, I like people. I like the young people. I think the future borders well for us in St. Kitts and Nevis. I look to the future and to the children and the young people through the lenses of my children, who are right now the ages 21 and 24. Wow. And I think the politics of St. Kitts and Nevis will change over the next 10 years.
I see that happening.
Because
also.
I think the young people are no longer stuck in a mold. I think they're thinking very independently. A lot of them have gone on to university, and even if they don't go to university, they're really thinking outside the box. And I think the various platforms of the internet, etc., has really afforded them an opportunity to be in their homes and still see the world at large. And I think that has done a tremendous good for us in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I hope that when I would have left this place, we would be in much better hands. And I think I want to tell the young people out there that they need to step up to the plate. I think it's their time now, and they need to assert themselves because St. Kitts and Nevis is waiting for them to open up to the various and the mirrors of opportunities that we have before us. So I'm very hopeful for St. Kitts and Nevis through the lenses of the young people. So I'm glad I've had the opportunity tonight to be able to at least, engage them, engage the community, engage those listening, engage those watching. Because when I was at their age, I was really very much in the political forefront, not really in the body politics as such, but at least listening, engaging, and wanting to be a part of the process. It's when I am on the political campaign and I engage young people, and they say for example, they're not voting. I say no, it's really a pity, because our forefathers fought 300 years for the right to vote, and it's a sacred right. Wherever you vote, whatever party you vote for, but it's important you exercise your franchise 100%. When you're given the opportunity to do so.
Okay, well, speaking of children and the youth and the future, I would really love for you to tell the audience about your upbringing, where you grew up on the island, a couple childhood experiences and things you learned growing up in St. Kitts and Nevis that have helped you in your political career thus far.
Well, I run in constituency number 4, but actually I've never lived in constituency number 4.
Okay.
Oh, fun fact.
So that's a fact for persons. I've really lived all my life in Sandy Point.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But on my paternal side, all my father's family, they're from constituency number 4. So my grandmother, my father, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, all from constituency number 4. And in fact, all my youth and the development was in constituency number 4.
Okay.
I played cricket in constituency number 4. I played football. I engaged persons there. So my engagement really was in constituency 4, although I lived in 5. So it's a really unique situation I've been in for several years. And my political career, I could say, started in number 4 because at the age of 10, I remember handing out flyers in a general election, can't remember which one it was, for the People's Action Movement, of course, because my grandmother then was a staunch supporter of the People's Action Movement. In fact, I think she had nominated Dr. William Herbert when he ran then in that constituency. So we are steeped in the politics in terms of family. We weren't really traditionally out front, but we were supportive. I think I've been the only person within the family who have been out front in the politics.
Right, right. And when did you start that?
At the age of 10.
I mean, when you actually entered the political realm in terms of candidacy and...
Okay, well, I came back from university in 1991. And I think by 1993, I was then on the executive of the People's Action Movement. And I was really into the politics then. So it took me about 2 years, I would say, out of university, really to get into politics. And if you listened last night, one of the factual situations which I said is that when I came back in 1991, the then, because that would have been 1991, yes, the then opposition leader, Dr. Denzel Douglas, invited me into the Labour Party. And I declined then because I knew philosophically I was not leaning towards that party as a philosophy. And so I turned it out then and moved into the People's Action Movement. But what I want to say is that really and truly politics is when I started out in the politics, I didn't expect the politics to be what it was. And that's one sad thing for me. Because for me, politics was about an engagement of people and an upliftment of people, and really and truly doing your best to make your community better in several ways. And to me, it's changing, and I hope the young people can bring it back to where it should be in terms of, making sure that people understand that you could have political differences, but you need to get along. And so I hope that changes in that aspect.
I mean, speaking about community and the legacy that you have in politics, what would you say you're most proud of?
Well, I think when you say most proud of, I think you're really getting now to, excuse me, a program that I'm now running. And I run a breakfast program for students in my constituency. I began really, and it was not my brainchild, let me say that. Okay. It was the brainchild of some individual who came to me and gave me the idea and said, look, this is what is happening in school. Young people are coming to school and not having eaten breakfast, and you should start something. And I thought about it and say, excellent idea. And so I started a program out of my house. My wife and I would get up 5 o'clock in the morning and we would prepare breakfast for 25 students of the Tyrrell Williams Primary School. 25, and we did it 2 days a week, I think it was, Monday and Wednesday. And then 2 days became 3 days and then became 5 days. And 25 students became 50 students, became 75 students, became 100 students. And I said to her, no, this is very exacting, and I can't continue to do that. Get up at 5 every day and then go to work. And so we decided to buy 2 commercial stoves, place them at the school, hired an individual to do the breakfast, and then I had a team of volunteers. And I want to pick up my team of volunteers, about 10 of them. Wow. And they come every day without fail. And we feed 100 children at the Tyrrell Williams Primary School. In fact, the program has taken on an engine of its own, because now in the Virtuals High School, they've asked me to prepare breakfast for 25 students. So actually we prepare 125 breakfasts Monday to Friday once school is on. And that, to me, is my greatest achievement. Wow. I'm getting goosebumps as I speak, because I think this is the kind of politics I want. It's about service. It's about relentless service. And I want to tell you, it's not just about giving breakfast to students, 125. You come in, you have devotion. Yeah. You have, I sit down at, ever so often with them. I eat with them. We teach them the the proper way to eat, and it's really a family-oriented affair, and I just love it. And so within politics and outside of politics, that is going to be my pet project.
That's marvelous. Absolutely wonderful. And I commend you for that. That's actually, that takes courage, and it takes dedication. I mean, you were waking up at 5 a.m. every day to cook for students who couldn't, support themselves, and that is actually very commendable. So
I think if I wasn't on national TV, I'll come to tears right now because I'm feeling very emotional about it.
You are on national TV.
Oh, I am, okay. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, speaking of...
I also run another program. It's called the HARP program, Homework and Reading Program, where I get a team of volunteers that go into all the communities of my constituency, and we teach those persons who may be slow or may not have had the opportunity to be able to get an in-depth assessment of their teachings. And so we have teachers who come in and teach them, ever so often in every area. And that too is a good program because it has produced results for me. So I'm happy for that program also, which is also a volunteer program. So those two programs, I think, I would give the world for them.
Okay, wonderful. So we spoke about your proudest accomplishment. What about your most successful accomplishments as a cabinet minister, as a minister of tourism, and the other ministries that you operate? Over the last 5 years, what have you accomplished that you can tell the people, listen, I've done this, I've accomplished this, this is my track record?
Yes. When we speak about track record, I think the record is there for itself. I've broken record after record when it comes to cruise arrivals and air arrivals. I've grown the cruise industry from 638,000 passengers in 2014 to 1.2 million passengers, over 100% in 5 years. And so that has been significant. And you've seen the growth and the development. I mean, when you're in Bastia and cruise ships are in, you know what's happening. And that has given the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis a tremendous boost. And so I am proud of that accomplishment. Of course, that in itself brings its own challenges. And so we have to deal with the challenges on a daily basis. And the challenges of persons who, it's always once you get more, you expect more. That sort of feeling. And so those are things we have to deal with. You recognize that we've built a new cruise pier, $140 million, because we understand that the growth and development is there. Mm-hmm. COVID has put a tremendous halt on our operations, but obviously we're in a dynamic and global environment, and so we have to deal with it and the problems and the nuances as they arise. And I think we have been dealing with them, as best we can. I'm hoping, however, that by the year end, the country opens up, and so we can be back to some state of normalcy, because this industry pumps a tremendous amount of revenue into the country. So we have to we have to sustain ourselves.
Yes.
And to do that, we need the funds to come in. So I'm hoping that at least we find a vaccine for this, or something comes. Because I believe in January of this year, nobody could believe that in May of 2020, we'll be faced with this pandemic and this tremendous effect on our economy. But I think we are resilient people. We understand the vagaries of life. We are committed to the development of St. Kitts and Nevis, and once we're committed to its development, we can move forward. I mean, we have done tremendously well in our music festival. You see how it's grown. And what I get out of music festival is not the artists that we bring in, it's not the big stars that we bring in. But I can tell you one thing. When I took over in 2014, the videography and all that was run by outside persons, and I say absolutely not. Absolutely not. In my first year, I brought on stage young people, Fonzie and those Cap, and they didn't fail me. You could ask Fonzie when they came before me. I said, look, I'm giving you guys an opportunity. Don't fail me. I need to see you shine, and once you shine, it's your job. Not only did they shine, they went beyond the call of duty. They produced par excellence, and we have to give them a round of applause. Excellent group, and they continue to shine day by day. And they now have given themselves and given the people of St. Kitts and Nevis the opportunity to look at them, to see how they have succeeded, and to say that we can succeed too. And so the industry is burgeoning and blossoming, and young people in St. Kitts and Nevis, big up to them. Excellent. Small island, 50,000 people, but on any world stage, we can perform and outperform. So big up to St. Kitts and Nevis.
Every single time.
Right, well, speaking of our bread and butter industry, tourism, I mean, we were hit really hard like the rest of the world. Do you have any plans to take us forward after COVID-19?
Well, COVID-19 has been a tremendous eye-opener. Let's not even talk about the economic stage and the tourism industry. What has COVID-19 done for us? I think COVID-19 has given us the time to have some introspection.
That's true, yes.
That, if it's one good came about it, it's that, introspection. Because you were home in your curfew and your lockdown, nothing to do, sitting back and saying, what have I done wrong over the last 5 years? What can I have done better over the last 5? What did I not do? And from the simple thing is this. I started to cook. I hadn't cooked for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm a big chef. Thank God to COVID.
A big dancer too.
Yeah. But no, I'm serious. I mean, you do that, and then you said, I haven't done so many things in 15 years. And I look back and say, look, this has taught us that we don't have to really get caught up all the time in the materialistic world.
Exactly.
We need to slow down, take a break, look back, think, have some introspection, and see what really the world is all about. And at the end of the day, we're going to recognize, and I tell my children all the time, I say, look, try sleeping in 2 beds at the same time. Try driving 2 cars at the same time. You can't do it. And the real reason is this, that look, we don't have to get all these fancy things. Really and truly, the best thing in life is people, friends, talk, the little chatter. It's not about the big things in life. It's about the little simple things that really connect people of all walks of life. And I think COVID has, brought that home to me. It has also brought home to me the fact that we need to be a bit more empathetic and sympathetic to persons of all walks of life, and not be just caught up in our own little, bubble,
Yeah.
and don't appreciate the challenges that so many of us go through. And I think that, to my mind, is an eye-opener. And it also shows us that we can take little and live long.
Long lessons.
Yes, lessons for life.
Excellent. Well, we have about 5 minutes left, Honorable. So let's get into the real meat of it, the juicy part of it. You're running in constituency number 4, and I think you have 2 opponents this election. The only one with 2 opponents. So some good say you have double the work to do, or maybe not. So tell the people listening and watching right now, on the airwaves, on Facebook, on other social media, why you and not them?
Well, let me first of all say that I take every election as it presents itself before me. I never underestimate my opponent. I do all the work that is necessary to succeed and to win. And I tell my team every day. The job is not done until the job is done. We have not won until the last vote is counted in the box. That is how I operate. I take nothing for granted. I have 2 opponents instead of 1, and I'm not taking them for granted either. And what I would say to you is that I'm confident, very confident, not overly confident, that I will succeed come June the 5th, 2020. The people have reposed their trust and their confidence in me since 2015. They understand the successes I've given them. They understand that their life is better off because I have produced for them. And I think they will give me the opportunity again, come June 5th, to be in Parliament to represent them. And what I said to them also is that I'm going to make sure that this 5 years is better than the last 5 years. That is my goal, and that is what I have to do. And so that's what I'm striving towards, ensuring that the people of constituency number 4 get good representation. Have I done everything that I wanted to do? No. Have I done a lot? Yes. Could I do better? Absolutely. Will I do better? Of course. That's the goal. And so I could talk about the Old Road Bay rehabilitation, $31 million, the fisheries program, $7 million, the card court in halfway tree, the lighting of the Virtuals playing field, the roads in Conyers, the roads in Cornfips and Harryfips, the roads in Virtuals. I could talk about all those. But when I'm really talking about achievement in constituency number 4, I talk about the little simple things that I think have touched the lives of the people in the constituency. My HARP program, my breakfast program, the houses for persons. Because at the end of the day, politics is about touching lives. And politics is all local. And so I'm asking the people of constituency number 4 to come June 5th, give me the opportunity to serve them again. Repose your trust and your confidence in me. And Lindsay Fitzpatrick Grant will not let you down. I've shown you before what I'm about and what I can do and my successes. And I rest on my performance to perform even better come June 6, 2020.
Marvelous. So we only have about 2 minutes left. So I'll ask you one last question.
Sure.
The Team Unity Manifesto is scheduled to be released in a couple of days, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. Without letting the cat out of the bag, what are some of the things that you have in store for constituency number 4?
Well, I intimated a number of them last evening at my launch. But what I really wanted to accomplish in the last term, which I accomplished halfway and didn't complete, and which I must complete this term, is something I believe is not only essential but needed in constituency number 4, and which was my music studio, which I started, didn't complete. In fact, I've already purchased $150,000 worth of equipment, very high-tech, latest equipment. The rest right now, as we speak, in a container. The only thing left to be done is to give the building to house it. I am going to give the people of constituency number 4 and the entire St. Kitts and Nevis the best state-of-the-art music studio you have ever seen in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it's going to be there before the year end. Once I'm finished that, I'm going into the videography of it and produce for them, because St. Kitts and Nevis and my constituency in particular has an enormous wealth and breadth and depth of energy and musical talent, which we need to explore. And if you realize how the world is going, this is it. This is a service industry that we perform. And so those persons are going to have the ability to earn an income to feed their families and produce music that can be on the international stage.
A perfect end to a perfect interview. Thank you very much, Honorable Lindsay Grant, for coming here, talking to us, and I believe truly that you spoke from your heart today, and I believe our listeners have a greater understanding of the kind of person you are, the kind of commitment you have to your job and to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you next week sometime, or perhaps after the election, to have a post-mortem on what happened. So all the best next week Friday in the polls. It's a big day. You have two opponents. Don't take them for granted, like you said, and go out there and get back to the people and do your best. So thank you very much.
I want to thank you for having me, and it's been an absolute pleasure being here. Thank you. And for all those listening and viewing, I want to thank you for having me into your homes this evening.